Hey guys, Juan Torres here, CEO of Go-To Mortgage Solutions, and today we have a special guest. Our special guest for today is Francisco Gadamez. He's an agent at Century 21, and I invited him over because today we're going to be talking about the 3 things you have to do to sell your home in today's market. So Francisco.
Appreciate it, Juan. Thank you so much. What's going on, guys? So let's get to it. So I'm sure everybody knows, you've all heard on the news, it's a completely different shift from now, right? So what it took to sell your home back then, it's completely different to what it's gonna take now. So number one, guys, the number one thing that you have to do to sell your home, okay, is sellers, you have to be motivated. You have to be a motivated seller. Now, why? Well, back then, during the pandemic, everybody knows, right, is you used to get a bunch of offers, right? They used to get like 15 to 30 offers per house. That is not the case anymore. It's almost like the complete opposite, right? So you have to be a motivated seller. There has to be a reason behind it. It's not like you're gonna put your house on the market and make crazy killing above appraisal value. There has to be a motivation, a reason behind it. Okay, so that's the number one. Juan, what do you think about that? Being motivated to sell?
I think it's 100% true. It makes a lot of sense, especially Francisco, where we're coming out of an era where the sellers would sell their property the same day.
Right.
And they would sell it for $150,000, $200,000
right.
above asking price.
Right. Right.
So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's go to number 2. Is your property has to stand out. Sellers, your property has to stand out. And in reality, there's only 2 ways, right? There's only 2 ways that a property can stand out. And number 1, it can be the baddest home in the area, in the neighborhood. It could be the home with all the bells and whistles, right? The backyard decked out, lights, pool, spa, which we've all seen. Those are the ones that still are getting like multiple offers, right? Or number 2, if more likely than not, your home is not the baddest home in the area, then it has to be the most attractive price per square feet. Those are the only 2 right now that are standing out to buyers, right? If home is anywhere in the middle, it's not the best looking one, it's not the one that's bringing the most value, and it's still one of the most expensive ones in the area, in the neighborhood. Those are the ones that you're seeing that they're sitting there a long time, 20, 30 days, and they're doing price reductions, but by the time they do price reductions, it's kind of too late, you know? So that's the number 2, is you wanna price it right. If you don't price it right, it's not gonna move. And you know, we go back to the Redfin example back then during the pandemic. All listing agents had to do is put a house on the market at the like 20, 40,000 above Redfin value, and it'll still sell a couple thousands even more than that, right? Nowadays, it's kind of the opposite. Nowadays, we have to stay ahead of the dip. This is important, stay ahead of the dip. Redfin algorithm, I don't know what you've seen, Juan, but it's all over the place. Redfin algorithm is all over the place. Zillow algorithm is all over the place. They're not in tune with what's going on right now. So you have to price it right. We have to price it at a point where it's ahead of the dip, okay? Because every time there's an interest spike, the price goes down. So that's the way that you bring value. Either it's the best home on the market or it's the best price per square feet. Juan.
That's huge, man. So if you're not the baddest property on the market, and if you are not the property that is listed at the best price per square foot.
Correct.
You got to go back to number 1.
Exactly.
You've got to be motivated.
Exactly.
If you want to sell.
Exactly.
Otherwise, your property's going to sit in the market.
Yeah.
Not good for a seller, and not good for the market.
Exactly. Right? And those are really the only 2 ways right now. Those are the only 2 ways to stand out. Either the best home on the market with all the bells and whistles, or the best price per square feet in the area, you know? Topic number 3 is have urgency. Sellers, super important, have urgency. Do not take too long in repairing and fixing things. A problem I see with some of my sellers is they're taking too long to, you know, take care of all the little small things, right? But here's the thing, unless you're remodeling the whole home, right? Then don't do too much to it. Right now, time is of the essence. And I want you to take 2 words with you. It's clean and declutter. That's something that I tell my sellers, my clients, clean and declutter. Make it look presentable, okay? Make it look presentable. Make it attractive, but have urgency while doing it. Do not take too long. Juan, what do you think, brother?
Man, it goes back to one and number two, man.
Yeah.
It goes back to if you want to sell today, you've got to be motivated. And what I'm getting from this whole thing is, De Francisco, if you're not motivated,
Right.
the longer you keep the property on the market,
Yeah.
so not only is it going to be bad for the seller, but
Absolutely.
that means that the seller is losing money every single day.
Yep.
So, and more than anything, man, I think this is huge that you're doing this, where you're bringing the consumer or you're bringing the seller value, so that by the time they do decide to sell the property, they already have an idea as to what needs to happen, right? Number one, you've got to be motivated, and number two, if you don't have the baddest property on the block, you've got to price it right.
Yeah.
So this is all good information. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. We'll be sure to share it with everybody on our social.
Awesome, man. I thank you for the opportunity, and thank you guys again. This is definitely going to help you guys.